And it's really cool. I challenge you guys. It's not a long book. My wife read it in like 5 minutes. It's 12 chapters, but it's short. Which y'all know my wife. That translates me to 4 hours for her 5 minutes. But anyways, it's not a long. It's not a long book. It's really cool. It's kind of like reading somebody's journal. Tonight we're going to kind of go into into the life, the latter life of Solomon, King Solomon. And of course, you guys know, and I'll read on in just a minute, King Solomon was the guy that God said, hey, if there's one thing that I can give you, if there's one thing, anything that you would ever ask, I'll give you that one thing. Who in here would love to have that option? If there's one thing I can give you, I'll give you anything you want. Just tell me that one thing. Who would love to have that? I would. My goodness, I'll be first in line. I'll punch you in the face to get in the front in line for that one. And so God said, all right, Solomon, one thing, dude. One thing I'll give you. What would it be? And in a minute, I'll tell you what that was. And some of you guys already may know it. But tonight, I want to play a game real quick. You don't require you moving around or anything like that. It just requires a little bit of this or that. That's about it. It's one of those raise your hand type deals. Okay, so the first thing is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question, and if it relates to you, raise your hand. If it doesn't relate to you, don't raise your hand. That's simple. Everybody get it? Okay. Everybody alive? Raise your hand. Paige isn't alive. She's a zombie. Okay. Just make sure everybody understood what I said. Okay. The first thing is the first thing is raise your hand if you hate when I play games like this and I ask you to raise your hand. Nobody? Y'all love this? Thanks, Hagen. Thanks, Ray. All right, here. All right. Now I just wanted to make sure. Just want to make sure that y'all hate me. Okay. The first thing is, how many in here are not satisfied with your cell phone service? Who's not satisfied with it? Okay. All right. You're not satisfied.
What if it always goes for it?
All right. Who in here is not satisfied with your cellular device? Okay. All right. I hope that's not an iPhone product because I'm an iPhone believer now. All right. Next thing. Who in here are not satisfied with your school schedule this year? What was that? Whoa. I don't know what that was. I'm assuming that's a no. All right, that's a big negative. Who in here, who's satisfied with your school schedule this year? Austin is. Austin hadn't even started. These guys are they hadn't even started. Good grief. Well, Mary Faith, you have. All right, just wanted to make sure. All right, this is a good question for you guys. Most of y'all that are not holding a job currently. Who in here who is not satisfied with your current financial status? Do I need to break that into elementary terms, Victoria? Are you satisfied with the money that you have in your pocket? Okay, that's what I asked. All right, we'll try that one more time. We got this one over here that's a little slow. That's freshman year for you. All right, who is not satisfied with your current financial status? Raise your hand. Hey, we got some. I knew I'd wake some people up. Man, if you're satisfied, come talk to me afterwards. I want to know what you're doing. Okay. All right. Raise your hand if you are currently not satisfied with your current wardrobe. This is probably more with the girls. Okay, well, that's cool. Hey, I'm the same way. I'm not satisfied. I want some more. I want more. Who was not satisfied with what you had for lunch today? Bean burrito. Paige, what'd you have for lunch that was so good? Huh? Potatoes? Did you cook them? Oh, that's what I thought. All right. Nice. That's right. You owe me some potatoes. So, and last thing, you guys that drive, so that will completely knock out this section here. You guys that drive, who is not satisfied with the current vehicle that you're driving? All right. All right. Okay. Well, if you got, okay, well, golf carts and lawnmowers apply. So basically what I'm finding out here is in this place is we have a bunch of unsatisfied people. Am I right? A bunch of unsatisfied people. You are not happy where you're at right now. That's what I want to make sure. Okay. Well. think school is a little too much for you today. All right, so with that being said, and I did that for a reason. Really quick, this is something I want you to know. In 1965, okay, you guys are going to old school. 65 was way before my time too, okay? I wasn't born that late. I'm not that old. But, yes, get you a Gatorade, Don. Let's replenish your thirst. By the way, a little side note here. Don't drink those things just casually, like sweet tea and Coke and water, because they will kill you. Ask Braden. That son gun about died on Monday at football practice. When I say died, I'm not kidding. He about died. He dehydrated and almost had a heat stroke because that's all he had in his system, and it sucked up all the water. So don't drink those unless you absolutely need them. Just want a little side note there. It's too much. Anyways, all right, there you go. I just want to put that in there. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about tonight, but I just want to put that in there. Anyways, in 1965, let me get back to my old school story. In 1965, there was a guy that felt the same way you do. In 1965, there was a guy that said, you know what, I am not satisfied. I am not satisfied. And he wrote a song about it. Now, I don't know if some of you probably don't know this song. Now, some of the leaders might. Not saying you are that old, but, you know, we're just real big fans of the old school music. I don't know about you guys, but y'all missed it. Y'all need to get here early because Backstreet Boys is playing, and I know y'all think that's old school, but I'm telling y'all, that's my jam. That's my jam. DC Talk. Anybody in here know about DC Talk? We got Malia knows because she's my daughter. We got Hayden about DC Talk is the best Christian band that ever was formed. Who knows Toby Mac? Toby Mac was part of DC Talk. Who in here knows the Newsboys? God's Not Dead. The lead singer, Michael Tate, he's DC Talk, former DC Talk. And then Audio Adrenaline, some of y'all may know them. Well, their new lead singer, Kevin Max, he used to be DC Talk. Anyways, I'm a big DC Talk fan. If they're anywhere near me, I will go see them at any time, whenever it may be. If it's a Wednesday night, I'm going to have to get somebody to preach for me because I'm going to see them. So, anyways, they're old school. But tonight in 65, there was a guy that wrote a song about him not being satisfied. Can anybody tell me what that song might be? Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on. Let Ronnie. Let's. Come on, DJ. If you know this song, raise your hand. Pause it. All right. Who knows that song? Raise your hand. Name that song.
I can't get no satisfaction.
Dang, Holly. Play it again. We just got to hit unhit pause. Unhit pause. And I try. But, so this dude was like, and does anybody, minus Holly, anybody here know who that guy was, that famous guy, that famous song? Fisher? Who's the guy that sung the song? Who's the guy that wrote it? Who? Did I say Mary Faye? Mick Jagger. And can you name what band that he was a part of? God, girl, you good. My gosh, y'all give that girl a hand. She did good. But that song was written almost 50 years ago. It was written over 40. That was in 65, so it's almost 50 years that song was written. It was a long time ago. And so what I want us to do right now that you've heard this song, I want us to sing along with it really quick. Not with the song. We're going to do it a cappella, okay? Yes. We're going to sing the chorus of this song really quick because there's a point I'm getting to. All right. All right, y'all ready? Paige, you going to leave me? Paige, you want to leave me? Paige, you want to leave me? Come on. I know you can sing, bro. All right. All right, y'all. Who in here knows the chorus? Who knows the chorus?
Holly.
Come here, Holly.
No, I can know.
All right, Holly, sing it from there.
You can sing, Holly. I can't get no.
Come on, y'all. All right. I'm going to say it, then you repeat after me.
Okay.
I can't get no satisfaction.
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 But I try. And I try. And I try. I can't get no. Oh, y'all got along right there. Good job. Good job. Good job. Well, there you go. Look that song up when you get home. Maybe, maybe not. Ask Mom and Daddy. I didn't tell you to look it up. But anyways, I can't get no satisfaction. Rolling Stones, we've sung it. Anyways, that song was made famous. That song was made famous. But here's what you don't just understand. What you just sung was the anthem of your life. Because you guys in here said, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with the wardrobe I'm wearing. I'm not satisfied with the financial status. I'm not satisfied with school. I'm not satisfied with what I had for lunch. I'm not satisfied with anything. I'm not satisfied with anything. And so you guys just sung the anthem of your life. I can't get no satisfaction. Here's the thing. Here's what's weird. Biblically, you just sung the soundtrack to Ecclesiastes, to Solomon's life, towards the end. And I want to read this really quick. Have you got my title screen up? Come on, man. Man, I'm about to cut your pay, dog. Where's my title screen at? Anyways, my title screen will be up momentarily when my sound guys up there stop doing whatever they're doing. Anyways, in Ecclesiastes, if you guys want to take notes, by the way, we have brand new internet in here. That does not give you the opportunity to get on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram while you're in here in our presence. That means Bible app and notes only. Just letting you know that. That's a little side note. But anyways, we have new internet. It's working great. It's EAGU something. It ain't working. It's supposed to be.
It's working because I was just on.
Okay, it's on there. Anyways, I don't know. Anyways, it's supposed to be bigger, faster, and yeah, bigger.
See, they ain't satisfied.
No, dang. So that's what I'm talking about right there, guys. That's what I'm talking about. You got my... Where's he at, dude? Where's it at? There we go. Can't get no satisfaction. All right, let's flip it to my scripture really quick. Can you hit the down button? All right, Ecclesiastes 1:2, it says, meaningless, meaningless. Say to the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Now, the first time I read this book, I was like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. This is crazy. What the crap is all this about? Because this doesn't sound like a normal book of the Bible. It really doesn't. I'm like, are you kidding me? Where's all the cutting the heads off? This is the Old Testament, by the way. Where's the cutting the heads off and chasing in wagons and this and that? This is just talking about me. And I'm telling you, when you read this book, you're like, what in the world is it? Is this really the Bible that I'm reading? Because it is basically like journal entry. It bounces all over the place. Kind of like as much as I move around, that's how the book is. Because chapter 2, it's talking about meaningless stuff, but it's just weird. It really is. It's weird. But what this is Solomon wrote 3 books, okay? He wrote 3 books. 3 books. He wrote, and this was the one that he wrote at the end part of his life. Of course, King Solomon was the richest man to ever live. Ever. That's how he was rich. He had a lot of money. Anyways, everything was meaningless. So, really quick, what I want to do is I want to read 1 Kings. I want to back up. This is when King Solomon was younger. This is David's son. David and Bathsheba's son, Solomon. Not the one that died. Of course, he died. This is the next one. Okay? This is the one that was legal. Okay? And so, yeah, this is the one that was not of sin. The one of sin, God took. Anyways, 1 Kings 3, 5 through 13, and I'm going to read this out. And basically what I want to do is I want to give you the scenario of his life prior to and how he got to this point. And set this up. I'm not going to take very long. It's almost 7:30. I will be done in 10 minutes, okay? Say, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
God just hurt my feelings. All right. That night the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, and God said, what do you want? Ask, and I will give it to you. Solomon replied, you showed great and faithful love to your servant, my father David, because he was honest and true and faithful to you. Now, David was a knucklehead at some point in his life. He wasn't perfect, but he was. He was a man after God's own heart. Just want to put that in there. And you have continued to show your great and faithful love to him today by giving him a son to sit on his throne. Talking about himself, Solomon. Now, O Lord, my God, you have made me king instead of my father David, but I am like a little child who doesn't want his way around, who doesn't know his way around. And here I am in the midst of your own chosen people, a nation so great and numerous that they cannot be counted. It's amazing. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern these people well and know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern his great people of yours. The Lord was pleased with Solomon's answer of asking for wisdom. So God replied, because you've asked for wisdom in governing my people with justice, and have not asked for a long life, wealth, or death of the enemy, I will give you what you asked for, and I will give you a wise and understanding heart, such as no one else has had or ever will have. Isn't that awesome? There will never be anybody as wise as Solomon. Ever. Ever. And I also will give you what you did not ask for, which is riches and fame. No other king in all of the world will be compared to you for the rest of your life. So you think about Solomon at this time. This is when Solomon was young. Solomon was a young king. And just imagine this, and I'm not downgrading your age, but just say you guys that are in the 9th and 8th grade right now, and you guys are awesome, but I'm just saying, just imagine that you were given the responsibility of being the queen, because you all are females, being the queen, just say of, I know that there's no queens in the U.S., but just saying you were given that type of power. That's Solomon. That's the thing that's what Solomon had at the palm of his hands. He could have asked for anything. Right now, if you could be given anything in this world, Victoria, what would you ask for right now? Money. Money. How much money? Malia, how about you? How much? Come on, give me a number. 22 million. That's a good number. All right. Kristen, what about you? Clothes, a lot of clothes. All right. So they were given the opportunity. God came and spoke to Solomon and said, Solomon, I'll give you anything you want, man. Anything you want. You just tell me and I'll give it to you. And what I just read, if you didn't hear that, Solomon said, you know what, God? You have shown favor to my dad. You've shown favor to me. God, help me govern because I realize my age. Because I realize I'm young. And I realize I'm foolish. And I realize that I probably don't always make the right decisions. So God, help me do what's best for your people. How unselfish is that? How unselfish is that? I don't know that if I was given that opportunity, I don't know that I would be as wise as this young man. What amazing wisdom. Already, before he even asked for it, if you hear what he's saying, he already has it before he even asked for it. I think in that moment, I think God did give him wisdom, but I think God was just wanting him to realize what he already had. So Solomon was given wisdom, but not only was Solomon given wisdom, he was given money, he was given fame, he was given everything he could ever ask for. Everything. But we find in Ecclesiastes later on in his life, everything's meaningless. I'm not satisfied. I can't get satisfaction. Everything means nothing. Because understand, when you ask for wisdom, that means you're asking for understanding in everything. I don't think we understand. It's not a cut-on, cut-off thing. Wisdom is like understanding everything, like understanding how that chair became that chair. And he was wise enough to understand that. He had wisdom in everything. Everything. Anything and everything that crossed his mind, it was wisdom. 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 Very dangerous. But along with that wisdom came the fame, the fortune, the cars, the hot women, and the big houses, and this and that. I'm just saying. He had all of that because of his wisdom. Now his asking and what God, and answering God's question was right. His answering was amazing. God, give me wisdom. Help me govern your people. You've been faithful to me. You've been faithful to my dad. I want to be faithful to your people. And you've been faithful to them. They've been knuckleheads, but you've been faithful and you love them and you love me. So God, help me to do what's best for them. Not one of your answers, and this isn't negative, not one of your answers was about anybody else but yourself, right? Right? Tonight, I've been the same thing. If you ask me anything I could ask for, I can have any one thing. I don't know. That'd be a tough question, but I wouldn't ask for wisdom. I wouldn't ask for wisdom for somebody else. Because we're selfish people, right? Anybody in here would, at that moment, would think about somebody else? No. Everybody would think about yourself. Okay, what can I get for my own personal gain? But because he had wisdom of everything, he had no satisfaction. Because if you read in the next chapter, Ecclesiastes 2, verse 1, Solomon writes, I say to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. Solomon had everything. In part of his life, probably, I don't have an age time, but in part of his life, Solomon became unsatisfied. Because his fortune and his fame and even his wisdom that in the beginning was God-given and with the right intent, he began to use for the wrong. He became unsatisfied. So what did he do? If you read all of Ecclesiastes, and again, I challenge you to read it. It's not boring. Read it in NIV or the New Living Translation. I like it better than the King James and the NIV. But read it. But he became in a place where everything that he had been given, he became not satisfied with. He wasn't satisfied with his fame and his fortune. He wasn't satisfied with his wives. He wasn't satisfied with his car. He wasn't satisfied with his horse. He wasn't satisfied with the shoes he had on his feet. He wasn't satisfied with his cell phone service. He wasn't satisfied with anything. And when you begin to be unsatisfied, what happens? You begin to look for something that will satisfy you. You know, and tonight I went in our cafe and I remembered these Snicker bars. On the back of it, it says satisfies. It says satisfies. Because this is the slogan that Snickers lives by, that it can satisfy you. Sprite says it can quench your thirst. It's saying that this, whenever you're hungry at supper time, eat one of these and it will take care of your hunger. I don't know how you operate, but if I were to eat one of these, I would be hungry in about 5 minutes. I'm serious. I would. And if you were to drink a Sprite, now let me tell you guys, I don't know how y'all are, but Sprites are not that good to me. Y'all may love them. They have no flavor. I had to drink those things in high school because I played football and he said no caffeine. Coach had us on a strict diet. So I drank those things. They're disgusting. My kids love them. I don't like them. Now, Malia don't. I don't like them. So you're telling me that if it quenches my thirst, so I'm hot, I'm thirsty, and I'm sweaty, and I grab a Sprite, and it will quench your thirst. Solomon was at that place in his life where he was willing to do whatever it took to quench his thirst, to satisfy him. I just said he had everything he could ever ask for. Are you kidding me? If you had everything you could ask for, would you be satisfied? I would like to think so, but we see celebrities every day. We had one that hung himself on Monday, Robin Williams, man. You would assume, and it shocked the crap out of me. It's not like I was a fan. I think the dude was funny, he was hilarious. But I wasn't like a stalking follower or something. But I was shocked. I was like, are you kidding me? This guy killed himself. Why? He had money. He had fame. He was hilarious. Making movies. Mrs. Doubtfire is like amazing. Yeah, I watched Mrs. Doubtfire. It's funny. But you would think somebody with that stature would be satisfied. He would have everything he could ever ask for. But apparently not. There was something missing. And in Ecclesiastes, and as I read this, Solomon's got something missing. There's something in his life that's missing. He began to search. He began to try. And it just said in 2 verse 1, it says, let's try this. Let's find the good things in life. Solomon found himself, after trying the good things in life, found himself right back to that same spot. He was still hungry. That Snicker bar didn't fix his craving. That Sprite didn't quench his thirst. All the money in the world didn't buy him happiness. Tonight, I see a generation that has searched and seek, and you can look in the eyes of ones and just see that they're not satisfied. In this room, you're not satisfied. You said it a while ago. We're not satisfied. Because what we end up doing is we end up looking for this and that. We end up, when we're hungry for something, we find a Snicker bar. And we don't go find that full meal that we need. And what do we end up doing? We end up acting like King Solomon. Solomon tried alcohol. Solomon tried relationships. Solomon tried sex. It didn't work. Nothing satisfied him. And you live in a generation now that doesn't get satisfied because you're steadily seeking and looking and searching and you're panicking and you're freaking out because you can't get satisfied. Because nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. Because we steadily seek and search for the wrong things. We live in a generation that iPhones should cure everything. An iPad should cure everything. Your car should take care of money. Money. Look, guys, I know people that just completely do not take care of their kids, but they throw every money that they could get, thinking that's going to satisfy, and that's going to bridge the gap in their lack of parenting. I know people like that. You may know somebody like that. Stop trying to fill the void in your life with junk. Stop trying to fill the void in your life with things that are meaningless. Because if you read towards the end of that, Solomon realizes, and I read it, the very first verse, the end part of chapter 1, verse 2, it says, everything is meaningless. Meaning that no matter what you search and seek for, if you leave God out of the equation, that it means nothing. You see, that's where Solomon messed up. Solomon had the wisdom, but he forgot to equate God into it. He forgot to add God into his equation. He began to use his wisdom and his fame and his fortunes, but he left God at home. He began to think about himself and not about the people. And he began to think more about himself and less of the people. And what eventually happened is he didn't even think about the people, and it was all about him. We live in a society now that is all about me. It's all about me, and it's all about what I can do. It's all about what I look like. It's all about what I can gain. It's all about what feels good to me. Because you see, God asked him a question. Hey man, tell me what you want. What's going to feel good to you, Solomon? And he said, what's going to feel good to me is you give me wisdom to bless your people. But even at that moment of his wisdom, he lost it. Later in life, he lost it because he got bored, because he stopped searching, he stopped seeking. What frustrates me more than anything is seeing someone, seeing a student, seeing an adult that's chasing after God, and you just put on the brakes and you stop because you become unsatisfied. You can't get satisfaction. I try, and I try, and I try, but I'm still not satisfied. Tonight, I want to ask you, what are you being satisfied with? What is satisfying you tonight? Look in your life. What today are you satisfied with? What today did you try to fill the void in your life with? Because, see, some of us have stopped seeking and putting God into our equation. And we begin to put ourselves multiple times in that equation and completely leaving God out. Today I find a lot of us in Solomon's shoes. Solomon was at a place of just nothing, because everything meant nothing because he didn't have God in his equation. This is a quote that I found and I thought was really cool. It said, I had no shoes and complained until I met a man that had no feet. we're never satisfied. We're never satisfied. Ronnie, can you play the music that I have on my playlist? That one song and just repeat it. Understand this, Alexander the Great was not satisfied. Because even though he completely subdued and conquered nations, he never got satisfaction. He never got satisfaction. Tonight it's a lot like our trip to Walmart. You never go to Walmart hungry. My mama taught me that. She said, you never go to Walmart hungry. Turn that down just a little. You never go to Walmart hungry, because what ends up happening is you begin to grab things that you don't want and you don't need, because you're finding something to fill the void in your life. You're finding something to quench your hunger. You're grabbing every little Debbie cake on the shelf. You're grabbing 5 loaves of bread when you only need 1. You're grabbing everything you can absolutely see. You're grabbing things that you would never reach for in your life, ever, that you don't even like. You're grabbing 12 packs of this. And really, you only need 1. You grab those white counter donuts, and even though you like those, you grab the chocolate ones too, and you don't really like those because you're hungry. And when you get to the checkout, your bill's like twice as much. And it costs you more. Tonight, guys, we're about like that story. That was one thing that my mom spoke wisdom into me. You never go to Walmart hungry. And tonight I want to tell you, you don't go out in this world hungry, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to begin to go to this person. You're going to begin to pull this off their shelf. You're going to begin to pull temptation off the shelf. You're going to begin to pull sex off the shelf. You're going to begin to pull this off the shelf. You're going to begin to pull this off the shelf. And before you know it, you've got things that you don't even need. And when it's all said and done with, you're still not satisfied, because you didn't get what you absolutely had to have. And it's just like it is when you get to the checkout line. You end up paying for it. It doesn't come free. You pay for it. Tonight, guys, stop looking for things to satisfy that thing inside of you that's still raging. And let Jesus into your life and let Him take control. And stop leaving Him out of the equation. Reading your word once a day and praying a 5-minute prayer that's cliche ain't going to cut it, guys. Walking into your school and us having a rally the night before school starts isn't just going to completely change your school. It's going to have to start with you doing something as well. Your attendance to the rally Sunday night didn't save your school. It just got you aware and got you prepared. Now what are you going to do with it? Coming to church on a Wednesday night and hearing me say 2 or 3 scriptures to you, and that's all the scriptures you hear, isn't going to cut it. When we pray over offering and we pray at the end, or maybe the 1 week time you visit the altar and shed a few tears, it ain't going to cut it. We're doing nothing but pulling junk food off the shelf. It's not going to satisfy you. All we're doing is open the Snicker bar because the world's lying to us and said it's going to satisfy you. This relationship's going to satisfy your need, so take it. Pop the top on that Sprite because it's going to quench your thirst. And all it is a lie. Because in John it says, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Let me tell you guys something. This is one thing, and it took me a long time because maybe I'm a slow learner, but I'm going to tell you this. The devil is a creator of nothing. We serve a God that has created everything. All the enemy does, all Satan does, is he takes and he creates havoc and deception. He takes something good. There's nothing wrong with a Snicker bar. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this thing. I love them. But if you go after it and use it for the wrong purpose, it's no good to you. If you want it as a snack, then it's perfect for a snack. But it's not your supper. Tonight, stop looking at things and stop trying to search for things and thinking it's going to fill the void in your life. Relationships are good. There's nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. But what are we using them for? 4. Tonight, guys, I'm telling you, stop acting like it's Walmart, walking in and grabbing everything off the shelf. Stop reaching for those things that are meaningless. Stop reaching for those things that mean nothing to you, because when it's all said and done with, learn it from a wise man. Solomon says, at the end of the day, everything means nothing unless you put Jesus in the equation. Unless you put Jesus in your life. You put Jesus in the middle of your circumstance. Y'all that were here 2 weeks ago, I preached a sermon on staying in the boat. Stay in the boat. But the key thing is you had to let Jesus into your boat first. To get to where you're going, you got to let Jesus in your boat. You got to let Him in your circumstance. Powdered donuts are not going to get you there. Relationships and one-night stands are not going to get you there. But Jesus will get you there, guys. He's going to get you through the hard times in your life. He's going to get you through this school year. And not only is He going to get you through this school year, you're going to make a difference in someone or many lives. You're going to begin to see your parents change. You're going to begin to see your brother or sister change. You're going to begin to see your life change. You're going to begin to understand that there's a hunger and a desire in your life, but you find out you're not hungering and thirsting for Sprite or Snicker bars. You're not hungering and thirsting for meaningless relationships, but you find yourself hungering and thirsting for God. Tonight, if you guys will bow your heads. Tonight, Solomon teaches us a wise thing. Tonight, if you'll look and listen into this, listen into this book of Ecclesiastes. This was a wise man that fell short. So that shows you tonight that you don't have to be perfect to have it all going on and for God to use you. That also shows you that, you know what, once you were, and maybe now you're not as much, but God still loves you. Tonight, I can guarantee you every person in this place can tell me one thing that they're not satisfied with in their life. Tonight you're in this room and you've heard everything I had to say, guys. Tonight, nobody's looking around. I just want you to be honest with me tonight. Tonight, you say, you know, I find myself searching. Tonight, I find myself seeking. And I realize that what I'm searching and seeking for is not the right things. I find myself spiritually unsatisfied. I once was hard after God, and now I barely open my word and I barely attend church. I barely pray. Tonight, if that's you, and this is just being honest, because Solomon had to get to a place where he had to realize that, you know what, I messed up, man. I messed up. Tonight, if that's any of you in this place, nobody's looking around, you'll just raise your hand. You find yourself seeking, you find yourself searching for things and they're meaningless. You find yourself wasting your time, and at the end, it ends up costing you more. Put your hands down. Tonight, the enemy wants to tell you that you're worthless. Tonight, the enemy wants you to look in the mirror and say that you're never going to be loved. He wants you to look in the mirror and say, you know what, you're not going to be able to do this calling on your life that this God said that you've got. And so forth and so on. Tonight, I challenge you to be satisfied. You guys that raise your hand, if you will, if you'll just make that next step and just come and just line up right here in front of me. Nobody has to know anything, but